Hey, good morning, everybody. It is Thursday morning, and this is Thursday Morning Live. Welcome back. Glad that you are here. And let me just say, if you are listening in for the first time, today will just blow you away. So I'm excited about my guest. But before we get to that, I'll tell you, I have been traveling the last few weeks, speaking a lot at real estate investment groups around Wisconsin. I'm in Vegas next week, been doing some property inspections. It's just been kind of a whirlwind. So it's kind of good to get back, sit back down at the computer, at the camera, and be back doing some live stuff. So I'm glad that you're here this morning. Like I said, if you're here for the first time, like us, love us. If you're on YouTube watching, smash that subscribe button. Always bringing you some good content, some information that will help your business. I usually get on here and I talk about intentions, right? When I start Thursday or Saturday mornings, I always talk about intentions, but I'm coming to realize more and more that it's beyond just intention. It's our mindset and it's what we think about. It's how we think about things. How we think about something is how we actually set ourselves up for success. So if you're thinking that you can, you're going to accomplish it. If you're thinking doubt and failure, it's probably not going to happen for you. So, Earl Nightingale said years ago that we are what we think about. I believe that we attract into our lives what we desire, what we want, what we need. What we need is at one level, right? Hey, you might need a new refrigerator and you can attract that into your mind. But what do you desire beyond that? Maybe a new house to put that refrigerator in, whatever that is. You can attract that. You can create that in your own mind with your mindset. So here's what it comes down to. It comes down to focus. It comes down to being committed to the process. I did a post earlier this week. I talked about 20,000 dials a year to sell 125 listings a year in the real estate sales business. And so what you focus on, you're going to manifest in your own life. So listen, I'm excited about this morning's guest, Kacia Snyder. She's with Jameson Sotheby's here in Chicago. She's a broker, specializes in the residential market, but we're going to talk about development because she's involved in a development project. And we're going to also talk about multifamily because she's got a multifamily project that we're going to talk about today. So we're going to talk about a few other things. I think I got a couple surprises for her too as well, but let's bring her in. Hey, good morning.
Hi, Mike. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
How has your week been?
My week has been great. January's been off to a very January and February. Now we're in March. But it's been busy, which we'll kind of get into the market. But the last few months of last year were just kind of crazy silence, and now it's action. So it's been busy.
Yeah, it has been busy. It's I can't believe people were saying it's going to be so bad, but every broker I know, and I have a good friend. He was a coaching client for a couple of years in the staging business here in Chicago. And I think interior drama.
Yeah.
So
Great.
Seth said that he's busier than he's ever been, which is just great, right? So
yeah.
It's interesting where the market's at, but we'll get into that a little bit. So
Sure.
Hey, listen, I always start my show with one question, right? I'm writing a book on this actually, but I want to know in one word, what best describes you personally and professionally?
One word. So one word's a little bit tough, but I would say genuine
Okay.
is going to be my word, and I think that's what's set me apart from a lot of the brokers in Chicago is that I'm genuine and I care, and not saying that other brokers don't, but that's really my main concern. My main concern is my clients, the relationships, and then providing the best experience that I can for them, and then the sales come after that. So
Awesome. Genuine's an interesting word. and I don't know, I'm kind of like playing back in my mind right now, thinking back through, has anybody said that before? And I don't know, 300 of these, and I'm not sure if anybody has said that at this point. So that's interesting. We'll have to maybe put that up front in the book.
Good. All right. I like it.
So I definitely will quote you. Hey,
Perfect.
so how about your background a little bit? Why don't you talk about how, what you did before real estate, how you got into it, where you're from, all that?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm actually from Champaign, Urbana, Illinois. Uh, I grew up in Urbana, so big college town. I ventured out to Los Angeles after that, doing an internship, and I was in a completely different industry. I studied athletic training in school, and I ended up going out there and doing personal training and starting a company, a fitness company for teenage girls in Los Angeles. And I did that for about 4 to 5 years, and realized it was time to come back to the Midwest. I missed, family, and all my best friends were out here, and it's a little bit different culture than Los Angeles, which I really appreciate here and what I love about Chicago. So I came back here. I ended up being in a job where I was doing business development for in the commercial construction world, and there's kind of three parts that led me into real estate. I was dating a lender at the time. I was in a long term relationship and living with a guy that was doing mortgages, so I was kind of um, around the business, and I was seeing these realtors that were doing really well, and I thought, I think I could do that. And at the same time, I was doing a ton of networking for the commercial world, and I realized, how lucrative that could be, especially if I had my own business. If I was doing networking for myself rather than for this other company, I realized that could be just uh, really set me apart from, I think, some of these other people that don't realize how beneficial that could be. And then I ended up purchasing my own condo, and my experience with my broker was just okay. And I realized how important that was, to kind of have I was a first time home buyer, to have my hand held through the process and really understand what was going on. So 6 weeks later, I got my broker's license after I closed on my condo, and I never looked back. It's been a really fun and great career ever since.
Nice. Good for you. Yeah, I love that you brought up networking, because that's where you and I met. We
Yeah.
actually met at a networking event, and I was talking to somebody, and you walked over to us and introduced yourself, and I think that that's really important at these live networking events, is you have to go out and work the room.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I noticed about you, is that you are forthcoming, and hey, you just like to meet people and get to know people, and see where that relationship goes.
Yes, exactly. I mean, that's what it is. And it's, you can go to those networking events and get a lot of contacts, but then you gotta work them, and you gotta, get to know people and see how I can help, or, be of service to you. So, yeah, it's still a big part of, how I create business.
Yeah, it's awesome. Hey, what'd you ever do with that parking ticket, by the way?
I added it to the pile that I already have.
Yeah,
So,
be
and
careful.
there.
These guys are serious with these boots here in Chicago.
Oh, I know, I know. That was one I just you I had my parking thing up, and then I saw one, and or I saw someone, started talking to him, and lost track, and darn it.
Crazy.
Happens too often to me. Yeah.
It does happen, and boy, they get expensive though too.
Oh man, it's ridiculous. The city
So,
is just, they get you.
so listen, I know you specialize in residential.
Yeah.
Talk about your residential business a little bit. What price point do you really like? What's a perfect seller or buyer for you? And a little bit about your business and team in that, and then I want to go on to those other couple of topics.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So, I work with any price point. I think last year, my average price point was, 700,000, but I had a few large ones that kind of offset that to a higher price. But, I sold an $80,000 home to someone last year, and I sold a $3.2 million home to someone last year. So, um, you know, any price point is fine. I'm just, looking to help you if you're looking to buy or sell. And I'm all over. I'm mostly in the city. That's where my bread and butter is. But yesterday I closed on a home in Naperville. I will do, take you where you need to go, or if I don't have an expertise in an area or whatnot, and I'm selling, I'll refer it out to a partner that's in that area. But yeah, so my business is pretty much in Chicago. I would say I have a lot of people in the 500 to $800,000 range, and then quite a bit of luxury buyers as well. And then I have a little group of first time home buyers. So
Right.
yeah, my business is mostly based off referrals. So that can be a wide range.
So listen, I don't think I've ever sold a $700,000 house. Now,
Okay.
commercial, yes, but and I sold $20 million of real estate a year. My average home sale price at that time was 200,000 at the time. So you know how much work that is, right? I
Yeah.
mean, just and even to get a 700 or $1 million condo closed today is, it's hard to get some of that stuff over
Yeah.
the finish line, much less do 100 or 125 of them a year. So
Sure. Yeah.
but good for you. I think that's great. And where do you see the business going? Just a little bit about the year we're in, 2023, the markets, interest rates. You have a perspective? And here I just want people to know we're in Chicago. This is Chicago-based
Yeah.
focus this morning on you and your business. But where do you see the market going here in Chicago?
Yeah, so good question. I think there's been quite a few different predictions for the year by, different sources. And me personally, I think we're hitting a very strong spring market. Over these next 3 months, we have a lot of leftover buyers that, missed out last year, especially during the low inventory of the year when they were looking to buy. Um, so I think it's going to be kind of it's a little bit of a seller's market here in the city right now. I mean, sources will tell you it's balanced, but I think it's going to turn a little bit more into a seller's market. Still, that low inventory is just it's creeping up. So very strong spring market. Summer sometimes slows down a little bit in Chicago when people are out and about, and fall is a little bit unpredictable. We got to see what happens with the city. Some changes in the government, and what happens with the rates. And I think the rates definitely have a play in things. It's weeded out some buyers, but not all of them. Some people have had to change their price points a bit. uh, so I think it's going to kind of trickle down towards the end of the year. We're going to have a really strong start. um, that's my prediction.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah.
And I don't normally breach this, but I'm going to do it with you because I think that you kind of alluded to it a little bit, but you think a new mayor is going to help?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We're seeing a little bit of a comeback in the downtown market, and the only way it's going to be a real comeback is if we get the crime under control, which that's
Yeah.
been really out of control the last 4 to 5 years. So I think with a turnover of that, it's gonna help.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, I believe so too. And we're down to the end here trying to figure out who that's
I
going to
know,
be. So
I know, it's
uh,
interesting.
yeah. So, hey, I know you're working on a couple big projects. What do you got going on in Michigan City, Indiana?
Yeah, so I'm excited to talk about this. We're in the pre-development stages where a few articles have come out, but um, we haven't done any PR with our brokerage, taking it over, and the actual developers and stuff. So I can tell you a little bit about the project. I can't go into crazy detail, but
Yeah.
I'm lucky to be the listing agent on it. But it's this what is it, $240 million project in Michigan
Wow.
City, Indiana, and it's going to be 145 condos, and we're solidifying that number. It might be a little bit more. We have townhouses as well, 19 townhouses, and it's connected to two hotels that are going to be Wyndham hotels.
Wow.
So these are going to be just awesome. They're not beachfront, but they're, about a block or two from the beach. So you're going to have lake views. You're going to have Indiana Dune views, wonderful sunsets, amazing terraces. Um, and then there's going to be three restaurants so far. We have two rooftop restaurants, so awesome places to look at the water on at Lake Michigan, and a cafe. I think we have a grocery store tenant at the bottom already. It's just going to be a really transformative project for Michigan City, Indiana.
Nice. I like, and this is the first time you told me that it's going to be anchored by two Wyndhams. That's a
Yeah,
good name, right? So
yeah, yeah,
I think that should be helpful. So
yeah. It's a great project, and we're setting up a. We have someone that does. He has a business of short-term rentals in Indiana, and he's going to be. He's part of the project. One of the developers on the project, and it's going to be a really great opportunity. We're going to have a short-term rental program there, so really cool project for investors.
yeah,
Our prices are great, especially compared to Chicago. Um, can't quite tell you those yet, but it's definitely worth looking into for investment.
nice.
Yeah,
Um, Development is a different animal. My history has always pretty much been buy existing. I've never liked the development game because there's such a time lapse where there's no revenue.
yeah.
But recently I got involved in a project that we're doing new development, 176 unit multifamily deal in Casa Grande, Arizona, outside of Phoenix. And I
Interesting.
got involved for a couple reasons, and I think this goes back to our conversation about market. But Phoenix has been so hot; it's gotta decompress, and when it decompresses, and I think we're going in right at the right time to do this development because we'll be at the head of that next bull run, and I
Hmm.
think that Michigan City's prime.
Yeah,
I don't know why has been kind of like it's been for years,
exactly.
especially being right by New Buffalo.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's this will be interesting. I'm going to be interested to watch you and this project come together.
yeah.
So good for you. And then the other side, multifamily. I know you've been talking to me about a multifamily deal you've got coming to the market, and most of my listeners are multifamily people. I'd love to hear a little bit about it, and who knows who might have an interest. So
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I'm from Champaign-Urbana, and my family has a 84 unit building right across from, well, it's actually seven different buildings, but 84 units directly across from Parkland College. So, we're looking to get rid of that, and I'm going to help them list it. And it's a great value add opportunity. We're not unreasonable on price at all. So, if anyone has any interest, it could be student housing. Right now, it's not, kind of because of the bedroom count, and it needs some updates. We have a few students there, but yeah, it's an opportunity for student housing, or I mean, any sort of housing there. So
yeah, interesting. So
yeah.
so it could be, right now it's pretty much just market rate rent. Your
Mhm.
dad operates it as standard. I can raise my rents anytime. There's no
Mhm.
bonds or tax credits involved. No hair on the deal, right?
Correct.
And
Yep.
then it could be converted to student housing, which I've never been a proponent of student
Yeah.
housing, but I know some guys that have made a lot of money in it. So
Yeah.
um, I just, there was just a space. You start to get really good at what you do, and you kind of stay focused there. And that's what I've always done. I've like got really good at multifamily market rate rent, know my buying strategy, know the markets I want to be in, and you tend to stay really focused on that. So, but it's interesting all the different product classes that people have and that they can participate in.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that. I agree with you on that. Stick with what you're really good at, you know, and go there. I think, where I ventured out a little bit is I got into the business not knowing fully if I was, totally committed to the residential side. So I started to venture out and, you know, do some commercial leasing, um, get into multifamily, and then the market, the residential market just, took over my life in 2021 and in 2022, honestly. And so, I was lucky enough to get this development opportunity that I brought, our Jameson Sotheby's actual development, um, uh, what do you call it, development sector into, and they're just absolutely magnificent. So I mean, they're doing all the back end work where I'm going to be able to just sell, so they're doing all the development stuff. So I'm going to be primarily just selling like I normally do there. I've been a little bit involved in the back end process over the last year, and kind of learning that, which is cool. And then, I wanted to take this opportunity to learn multifamily, and figure out if that's somewhere I want to step into as well. So I'm still at the beginning stages of, figuring out exactly, where I fit in the best, I guess, in the real estate market. But you're totally right. Where stick with what you're good at. So I'm figuring that out.
Sounds like you might need a multifamily coach.
Yeah, I mean, well, I listened to all your stuff. It's wonderful. I mean, you definitely know what you're talking about. So
I'll tell you what, today I'm doing group coaching. I do a group coaching every week at 2:30, and I cover, about 25 different topics, not all at once, right? But each week a different topic. And we talk, and then we have some Q&A, or I give a presentation, then we do some Q&A. And today I'm going to talk about financing and funding deals, creative financing, owner participation. So I think there's a lot to the capital stack in multifamily,
yeah,
where and how and who you find money so for deals.
yep.
So yeah, if you wanna listen in, let me know. I'll
What
set.
time is that?
It's
Yeah,
at 2:30. Thanks for asking. That's a great sales question, right? It's at
yeah.
2:30 Central Time every Thursday. So,
Every Thursday. Okay, yeah.
and if you can't
Definitely
make
send
it,
it to
it's
me.
recorded. So
Perfect. Yeah, you know what you're doing with all this, coaching and recordings, and it's pretty impressive.
oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Sometimes I wonder if I know what I'm doing. Hey, so here I got to ask you about your social media presence. We need to talk about that because you
Well,
brought that up before the show. Uh,
yeah.
a little bit need a little push out of your comfort zone.
You know what? Yeah, I've just never been a big social media person, and I know that's very lucrative in this world, but it is. It's out of my comfort zone. I don't like to be showy. I don't like to post myself a lot. So and I've been like that since I was a child. So yeah, I need someone to probably manage it for me at some point. But yeah, I am on Instagram. I am on Facebook. I try to post properties that I'm listing or that have sold to kind of show what I do.
Mm,
So I think my Instagram's Kacia Snyder, and same with Facebook, first and last name.
yeah, good. Um, hey, listen, I appreciate you being here this morning. It's been fun. Um,
Yeah.
always keep this short and sweet, but I have three bonus questions.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
first one is best book you've ever read.
My favorite book I've ever read is Conversations with God, and it's
Oh,
a trilogy.
yeah,
Have you read it?
I have years ago. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
dating myself,
it's
but yeah, years ago.
yeah, it's you know what, I read it over Christmas this year, and it was one of those where I couldn't put it down, and it's just a really cool spiritual book that kind of explains our existence and God and all there is.
Yeah, cool. Good for you. Best restaurant. Keep it to Chicago if you can.
You know where I always pick, I'm a big seafood fan, and I love Joe's. I love the crab. I always forget if it's king crab, I think, or stone crab, the big thick crab. So Joe's is probably my favorite restaurant here.
Love Joe's.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and then last question is tourist attraction.
Like around the country or the world or
Yeah, whatever you think's been the best, or there's only so many in Chicago, Navy Pier and the Bean, and
yeah. And
I
those aren't
love
my
that.
favorite. I went to one of the most beautiful places I've ever been is Banff, in Canada, which is the Rocky Mountains.
Oh,
And I went there in September of last year of 2022, and it was just, I mean, breathtaking. Every time I turned around, I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. You know, there's snow, there's um, mountains, the water's crystal blue. So one of the most beautiful places on earth I've ever seen is Banff, Canada.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard of that before. So
Yeah, it's
interesting.
great. Mhm.
So just one last thing. I've
Mhm.
been playing email tag with Eve from the Chicago Chamber and that, and
Oh, Eva.
I
Yeah.
just haven't been able to get connected with my travel and, in and out of town. And it's just kind of crazy right now, but I'll get that taken care of. And
You'll
um,
love that. I think that'll
yeah,
be it's a good networking platform.
I want to go to one of these Tuesday things. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
um, anyhow, how do people get a hold of you?
You know what? I think you got my email and my phone number right on the screen there. And then, I mean, if you do venture to my social media, don't, feel free to reach out there. Um, I'm easily available by phone,
Perfect.
text, phone, email. Yeah.
Thanks for being here this morning. I
Thank you
appreciate
so
you.
much, Mike. Yeah.
And yeah, I'm going to move you to the back room. I'm just going to say goodbye. If you hang out with me for a few minutes, that'd be great.
Sure. Yeah, I
Okay.
sure will. Okay.
Thank,
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
thank you. Hey, everybody. That was fun this morning. Kacia Snyder with Jameson Sotheby's here in Chicago. And so if you're looking to sell a house or if you are looking to buy a house, the market is ripe. And she even mentioned it this morning. So reach out to her for a little bit of guidance, a little bit of help. And even if you just have questions or you're looking to network, she loves to network. So, hey, I want to thank you for being here this morning. We are here every Thursday morning at 8:30 a.m. live. Try to specifically bring somebody in from the Chicago market. So if you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, restaurant owner, somebody who wants to throw your hat in the ring and be on with me on Thursday morning, let me know. Love to have you. Hopefully we'll see you at some networking event here coming up soon in the next week or so. And if you are following us on social media, make sure you like us, subscribe on YouTube to our channel so that you're always getting relevant new daily content. We're pushing stuff out every day, little tips on building your multifamily business, raising private capital, the things that are important to you in your life. Look forward to seeing you soon somewhere. Have a great